Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this opening ceremony of the 16th International Conference on Information Systems for Crisis Response and Management. We have at the head table the President of the ISCRAM Association, Professor Dr. Marcos Borges, the Regional Secretary and Director of the Security and Emergency Response Agency in the Valencian Community, Mr. José María Ángel, the President of the Scientific Committee, Professor Zeno Franco, and the President of the Organizing Committee, Professor José Hilario Canós. Firstly, I give the floor to the Professor José Hilario Canós as President of the Organizing Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Rector, Mr. Director General, authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for all of the members of the UPV to welcome you to the 16th edition of the International Conference on Information Systems for Crisis Response and Management. I hope that you enjoy, as we have enjoyed, organizing and preparing all these sets for these days. I will start saying hello also to all the people that couldn't come here and are following us through the live streaming service. And I have to say that we all miss you, so I hope you enjoy also these talks. First of all, I would like to give you some numbers of the conference. We have had a very high number of registrants. We have up to 225, from which 63 are students and 162 correspond to regular registration from both practitioners and academics, and also some authorities. And we have, for the very first time, created a new type of registrations only for workshops that had 18 registrants, and we have over 100 participants in the activities of yesterday, of Sunday, which is a very nice number as well, okay? Sorry, the number is missing, but I forgot to include it this morning, but it was quite crowded. Okay, a few words about the origin of the attendees. We are lucky to inform you that we have participants from more than 30 countries from all around the world. Germany is the country leading the number of registrations, followed by France, also Spain. And, well, there is a variety of different countries like you see. This is the list you can see on the at the bottom of the slide, the list of countries, okay? So I think this is a very good news as well. The conference, the program of the conference, you know that is structured in 4 days. The first day was yesterday, Sunday 19, was devoted to the workshops and the doctoral colloquium with a high number of attendees, as I mentioned earlier. And we have also other activities like a poster and demonstration that will be held this afternoon. And also we have a panel tomorrow after the keynote speech. We have a panel entitled Research Meets Practice that we hope that will serve to enforce the relationships between academia and practice and try to explore the different ways to improve this cooperation, as I mentioned. I'm also pleased to announce 3 keynote speeches, one for every day of the full conference. Today we will start with the conference by Dr. Marcos Bruna. Tomorrow we will have the talk from Mr. Steve Peterson, and on Wednesday, Professor Monica Boischer will talk about personal resilience. Okay, and besides this, I would like to comment a couple of things about the proceedings. As you know, you have a lanyard with a USB stick where a copy of the proceedings and also the full program are stored. However, these proceedings are not the final ones because we have omitted the results of the deliberation of the Best Paper Awards Committee. These awards will be announced tomorrow at the gala dinner, and after that, we will upload a new copy of the proceedings, including all the information about candidate papers and also the winner papers, and will be available for its download at the digital library and also at our website, right? So I advise you to take the new copy after you return home, okay? And I would like also to mention an event that is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon as well, which is entitled Women in ISCRAM, which is promoted by Fiona and other people, and that initially in previous editions was oriented to debate about the participation of women in the community, but this year the purpose of the meeting is a bit wider. It's trying to see how diversity can be included, it can be managed in the community at very different levels. So I encourage all of you to attend, okay, tomorrow at 2:15, right after lunch, okay? I hope to see you all there. And finally, regarding social program, I think that most of you attended yesterday to the welcoming beers. We have a nice time that concluded with the rainbow and a bit of rain, but I think it was nice. And today, you know that we have the first and hopefully not last ISCRAM Paella workshop that will be held in the Castle of Benissanó. We will depart from the campus at 6 p.m., okay? And we will have also a gala dinner tomorrow at the Vélez event at the Marina Real, that I hope that will be also very nice. And finally, for those that are staying in Valencia on Wednesday evening, we have organized a guided tour to the Old Town. So if you are here and you want to participate, and to take the visit, please go to the registration desk and mark and tell to the attendants that you plan to go, right? That will help us much to organize this visit, okay? So there is also some information about the bus services that is important for you to read. We have defined a couple of meeting points because buses are very restricted in the city center. It's not easy to park a bus in many places. So we will have two meeting points. One is in the Plaza del Ayuntamiento near the City Hall, okay, in downtown. And the other one is in the area where we were yesterday, the area of the City of Sciences. In particularly, you will have some pictures at the website so you can check where this point is. So also in the website, in the practical information page, you will have the timetable, the schedule for the different bus services, okay? So I will skip some details because I will not like to extend my talk. Lunch, practical information about lunch. Lunch will be on the Galileo Galilei building. You have just to take left when leave the building and then go to this building here in the ground floor. It's on the ground floor, okay? We have 3 different schedules just to make you accustomed to the late lunch time that we used to have in Valencia. As you know, we have not the European lunch time at all, so I hope you can manage to have so late lunch, okay? And well, there is a couple of errata that I have been corrected in the proceedings. We forgot to include 2 posters that this has been fixed, or is being fixed. And also the names, the numbers, the codes of the meeting points have been also changed just for make it match with the invitation to the gala dinner. These are minor changes anyway. And finally, I would like to thank first the authorities for attending here. Thank Mr. Rector, Mr. Director General. I would like, of course, thank the ISCRAM board that trusted us about 2 years ago and pushed us to organize the conference. We have had the support during all this time from Marcos, Caroline, and other members of the board. We would like also to appreciate very much the work of the program co-chairs, Zino here in the table, Jose Gonzalez sitting in front here, because their work has been very serious, very rigorous, and every decision they have taken has been for improving the results of the conference. I would also like to thank to the other members of the scientific committee, workshop chairs, posters and demo chairs, the doctoral consortium chairs, and so on, whose names are there, and also the track chairs and the workshops organizers, because they have done a great job as well. Finally, I would like also to thank the invited speakers for making the effort in preparing the talk and coming here. And last but not least, I would like to thank to two different groups. On one hand, the organizing committee, my colleagues here at the department, the Office of Conference Management at the UPV. I would like also to thank Miguel and Paloma from Global Communica that helped in the organization, and finally, all the volunteers that are supporting us during this. And to conclude, I would like to thank to all of you, both authors and attendees, because without you, this type of events will not make sense. So thanks very much to all of you, and hope you enjoy Valencia and you enjoy the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Canós. I give the floor to Professor Zeno Franco as President of the Scientific Committee.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Zeno Franco. I'm an associate professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin and have served for the last year with Jose Gonzalez on the program committee. I really have three things to say. They're pretty brief. I told Jose Canós that I was going to speak for an hour if he gave me the floor, but it was just a joke. So I think the first thing is really thinking about the culture of this conference. I've been attending since about 2006, and so you can do the math. It's been a good long time. I have colleagues here who have helped me grow as a scholar, and I am now mid-career and helping other scholars to grow as well. Everybody in the audience has different things to contribute. We have in the audience pure researchers, we have practitioners, we have industry. And I'm very gratified to see over the 10-year trajectory that I'm talking about, a dynamic change has occurred in this conference with the papers. And that's one of the things that Jose Gonzalez and I were really looking for, is that integration of perspectives in the scientific papers, taking into account the realities on the ground for practitioners, right? Thinking about how computer science applies to the real world in crisis situations. Our work can transform the world. It can really have an impact if we take that transliteration from one domain to another seriously. And so what I'm going to encourage you today, tomorrow, and Wednesday is to think with each other, right? The papers are really boundary-spanning objects, if you want to think about it that way, between disciplines, between thought patterns, between assumptions. If you allow them to, if you allow the discussion to take the right turn, amazing things can happen as computer science, human factors, crisis management, governance, all these different considerations come together in a conversation and can change how we think, how industry thinks, how researchers think, how students think. The most important thing to me is if you have students in your sessions is to bring them forward into the work, just like I was brought forward by people in the audience like Julie Dugdale. It's been an incredible journey. And I want you, for the more senior folks in the conference, to make that journey happen for other people as well. So that's the one thing on the academic side I'll say from the program perspective. At a personal level, the guys really said you should come on have paella. And I said, okay, I'll bring my wife and we'll have a good time. But for me, coming to Valencia is a homecoming in a way. My father was born in Manzanillo, Colima, Mexico. My grandfather was primarily Spanish blood. And it has been a real honor and pleasure to come here to Valencia, to Spain for the first time. So thank you very much, Jose Canós. I appreciate the invitation to come. And then last, I want to say, what is the real practical application? On the plane here, I read an article about a British police officer who went into the heart of a knife attack by terrorists and with only a baton in his hand. This is the emergency management perspective. This is the crisis practitioner perspective. This is the reality on the ground. This is what we face. I started coming to this conference right after 9/11. 9/11 is seared in my memory. It's why I'm here. We lost 3,000 people in the United States in a single day. We think about grand crises, but real crises are also small, personal events. You think about one police officer, right, with just a vest and a baton, taking on multiple attackers, thinking to himself, don't go down, don't go down. That is a heroic act, right? That is an act of defiance that defines our culture. What do we do to train an emergency responder? How do we use information systems to make sure that emergency responder isn't alone next time? How do we get a backup officer there quickly? Those are questions that this conference can answer, that this conference must answer for our nations, our security to be intact. That's our charge. So I just want to welcome you and think through what the papers mean, not just for the science, but for their implications. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Professor Franco. Now is the turn of Professor Dr. Marcos Borges as President of ISCRAM Association.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Senor Hector, members of the table, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of ISCRAM Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you all to this conference. I think it will be a very successful, as the many other conferences we had in the past, this conference. And it's a successful conference because we're looking for what Zeno has just said. We're looking for your participation and your contribution to a better world. This is the 16th edition of ISCRAM, 16 years that we've been getting together to discuss and to cooperate and to collaborate. In the ISCRAM bylaws, you can read in the first mission there, actually it's the first mission, that the role of ISCRAM is to promote and facilitate cooperation among all parties in the emergency domain, including researchers, practitioners, professionals, technical and other experts, and also policymakers. So that's the first, actually, the first mission of ISCRAM. So we're trying to fulfill this by having this World Conference. At this point, I'd like to ask you, how many of you have been to this conference or to a ISCRAM event 4 or more times? Please raise your hands. 2 or 3 times? Okay. As you can see, you keep coming back. So it means that you're seeking some benefits from the conference. You'll find beneficial to your work and to the contribution that you can make to the field. I'd like also to ask you, who is coming for the first time to this conference? Please raise your hands. As you can see, this conference is actually a very open conference. Welcome new members, and is looking for your participation on your enrollment on the conference. I'm sure you'll be back in the future conferences. So I have no doubt to proclaim the success of this conference, because the role of this conference is to have you to collaborate, to contribute, to exchange information, to exchange ideas, and that's what makes the conference a success. Okay, so for me, it's also a pleasure to be in this place. I spent the sabbatical here a long time ago, between 2004 and 2005, and I've been returning to Valencia several times. So it's not new for me, as it is for Zeno, but I always have the pleasure to come back here and see that Valencia is progressing, and especially the university is growing and having this facility here, a wonderful facility to receive all of us to this conference. I'd like to stress again that that makes ISCRAM a success. ISCRAM is you are ISCRAM. So please do your best to continue to this association and continue this dream that Zina was talking about. We, the board of directors, I'm currently the president of the board of directors. There are several members of the board of directors here, not only the current board of directors, but former members of the board of directors. And so our role is actually to create the facilities, to create way for you to collaborate. It's the same role of the organizer of the conference. The organizer of the conference is a big work. It's a very tough job, and we don't usually appreciate that until we get to the conference and see the things working exactly as we expect to. So, at this point, I'd like to acknowledge the great effort done by the University Polytechnic of Valencia and also the organizing committee led by José Canoes and his team to make this conference a success. So thank you very much, José, and thank your team, and thank you the University of Valencia, Polytechnic of Valencia, for having us here. Thank you all.
Thanks, Professor Borges. Finally, I give the floor to the Regional Secretary and the Director of the Security and Emergency Response Agency in the Valencian community, Mr. José María Ángel.
Buenos días, querido rector. Buenos días, profesor Franco. Buenos días, profesor Marco Borges. Y muchísimas gracias al profesor José Hilario Canós, porque fue el que se acercó directamente al Gobierno valenciano para ofrecernos y darnos cuenta de este encuentro científico que para el Gobierno valenciano pues, está muy orgulloso de disponer de profesores que tienen una referencia internacional. Trabajar con la Universidad Politécnica, como sabe el rector, es un orgullo y es una satisfacción y posiciona al Gobierno valenciano en la reflexión permanente en cómo hacer mejor las cosas. Las emergencias y las catástrofes siguen siendo uno de los principales desafíos del mundo moderno. El aumento y la mejora continua como instrumento integrador de todas las capacidades para gestionar la respuesta ante las emergencias y catástrofes es siempre un reto que obliga a todas las administraciones. El carácter imprevisible de las emergencias y los riesgos, tanto en su aparición y localización como en sus efectos, obliga a tener implantado un sistema de respuesta validado, contrastado, eficaz, para controlar y minimizar los riesgos y sus consecuencias. Esto exige incorporar a la gestión de las crisis y de las emergencias de sistemas operativos que nacen de la reflexión del mundo académico, universitario, científico, que está validado, contrastado y que tiene una aplicación para la resolución eficaz de estos episodios. Es fundamental, pues, disponer de instrumentos y herramientas que nos permitan la toma de decisiones lo más precisas para la distribución y utilización de nuestras capacidades. Gracias, una vez más, a la Universidad Politécnica, a la comunidad científica, por su contribución, por su transferencia permanente de conocimientos que nos permite e intentamos ser más eficaces. Bienvenidos a la Comunidad Valenciana. Decirles que este año hemos sido receptores de 10 millones de visitantes que no solamente han venido con aquel típico tópico que es el sol, que es nuestras frondosas playas, sino también por ser receptores de unas infraestructuras que son de primer nivel mundial. El profesor Canós decía que además van a poder visitarnos en la otra parte que en todas las reuniones científicas solemos hacer, que es conocer allá donde vamos. Y podrán salir de dudas, les enseñarán cómo se hace la mejor paella del mundo. Puede ser un típico tópico, pero rechacen muchísimas publicaciones que están por ahí. Ustedes están habituados a contrastar publicaciones y validar determinados y conocerán la única que es la verdadera paella científica que hacemos los valencianos. Muchas gracias. Iba a decirle del chorizo, pero quedaba mal.
Thanks, Director General. Dear colleagues of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, as rector of the UPV, it's a real pleasure to host this conference and to receive you at Universitat Politécnica Valencia. Firstly, I want to thank the board of directors of ISCRAM for choosing Valencia and the UPV to host this 16th international conference. And we are happy that during this year we are celebrating our 50 years old of the creation of this university. We are a young university, a research-intensive university that in a very short time has progressed a lot thanks to the support of the Valencian society. And this kind of conference, especially, we are very glad to celebrate in our university. We look for this knowledge transfer to our society. At what your research, your activity is directly connected to knowledge transfer, tech transfer, and in this case, for solving crises and solving the emergency response through the technology, through the information systems, and all devices and services available. This, I suppose that in your meetings, your discussions, that I'm happy to hear that we have people from the academia, from the administration, from practitioners, also from the companies, that it's a good meeting point to treat hard questions, because we know that the density of certain regions of the world, the density of our cities are growing more and more, that due to climate change, we change our conditions, weather conditions can change quickly and to extreme positions, and we suffer more and more from emergency disasters in our planet. Here in Valencia too, we are suffering the extreme hot conditions in summer, and our winters are softer now, but also this is a dry area. So your research, your results of your research are very important for all the planet, and also for this region. That I have to thank the presence of our General Director for Emergencies of this Valencian community, because we suffer, as I mentioned before, in summer a lot. Fires in our areas, and a lot of people have to move, and we have to react quickly. And fortunately, the technology can help a lot to improve this activity. Our university has several groups working in the emergency areas, from Professor Canós, is the chair of this organizing committee, but also in the area of drones that are collaborating also with the Director General, in the area of cybersecurity, also wind security, transports. I would say that in the last decade, the activity surrounding these emergency systems is becoming more and more important. And for that reason, I appreciate the work you develop, and that you can discuss during these days here in Valencia. We are happy to hear about your discussions and your opinion and the best results for certain problems and crises that we can suffer. We are a technical, scientific and technical university mainly. We have also fine arts, but 90% of our degrees, master and PhD students are in scientific and technical domain. We are located now in the Polytechnic City of Innovation. It's our science park. It's a meeting point of research, innovation, because we have companies also, startups are located in the buildings surrounding. I invite you, if you want to know something about our research institute located here, or some of the companies, some of them working in the emergency area. And we're happy to put in contact with them, and you can visit our facilities and to contact with our researchers and professors. I wish you a fruitful stay in Valencia. You are, I would say, in the best time of the year to be in Valencia. Now is a good time. Not in July or August, as I mentioned before, but now is a great time, and you can walk around the city. I invite you to visit not only the university, that this is your home, but also the city is very agreeable. And now I wish you a fruitful stay, a fruitful conference with us in Valencia. Thank you very much.